The woman who shot and killed Eugene police officer Chris Kilcullen currently calls a secure residential treatment facility in Pendleton home.
Yeah, even though Kilcullen's family and friends protested that decision to move Cheryl Kidd out of the state hospital, as KEZI 9 News reporter Now Wynn shows us, they're not the only ones concerned about the facility.
One of the biggest issues the Kilcullen family had about sending Kidd to the facility here in Pendleton was some of the freedoms it allows. Here at Pendleton Cottages, Kidd could go out into the public, supervised and or even unsupervised. And that has many questioning the safety for those near here. For a time inside the walls of the Episcopal Redeemer Church, this desk sat empty.
We met in another connection, and she was looking for a place to volunteer because she was at a stage where that made sense for her. And we had a need for a volunteer, so the two came together.
Interim Rector Allison Dingley says she didn't really know anything about her new secretary until she was hired.
Well, she was great with people. She is very friendly and outgoing and welcoming, and her office skills were not what we thought they might be, and personally, I came to see what some of her barriers were to employment that I hadn't seen before.
Dingley's volunteer was also a patient at Pendleton Cottages, a secure residential treatment facility serving mostly individuals deemed guilty, except for insanity. Patients here are cared for on an individual level with various treatments, some that even allow them time off campus. A point of contention with city officials in what was originally a welcomed project following the closure of other similar facilities, resulting in a loss of around 300 jobs.
I think the only time that the line has kind of been drawn in the sand was when there were conversations about the population being in the community unsupervised. And the state dug in their heels, and probably rightfully so, and the city did as well.
As it was put into place, initiated, the next thing we knew, we were having, these folks in our libraries, they had freedoms in the community that we were a little more than stunned about.
Pendleton's mayor says he feels the city was misled, but state staff say the possibility was made very clear prior to the facility opening via public discussions and reports. In any case, they were stuck.
So what we then did was to try and take the other approach in working with them to make sure that we have as much information as they could legally provide us through the police department.
Pendleton's police chief says staff met most of his requests, including a secure fence and notifications about new patients, as well as those being released. Ultimately, everyone agrees, though, that a lot of trust is placed in the staff.
That's why that process is so structured, is to provide safeguards to make sure that folks are safe when they're able to be in the community.
So how does the surrounding community feel about having these patients here, including those like Cheryl Kidd?
I wasn't aware of it. I can definitely see the advantages to letting them slowly back into the community, getting more used to life outside.
I think the general public is unaware, albeit there was some attention a couple of years ago to the subject. I think those who paid attention, they may have concern. None of them have ever voiced that concern to and with me.
People already are kind of messed up who aren't in there, so I mean, what's another person out in the public, so.
And while there were a few concerned about these unsupervised visits, there's only so much that can be done.
We got no private information about her. It was what she disclosed. And my stance with working with anybody really is who they are now. We have a choice. We can live in fear, or we can trust the humanity of the people in our communities.
One way the board quantifies the efficiency of their decision is through recidivism. How often does someone under their care reoffend? While the overall recidivism rate is less than 1%, 0.88% to be exact, board members say that there have been no reports of any patient from here in Pendleton convicted of a new crime. In Pendleton, Now Wynn, KEZI 9 News.